Right. Welcome to my new podcast. My name is Kathy Christensen, and I've been in the medical aesthetics industry for 25 years or so. During this time, I've had the opportunity to meet the most amazing people that make up this crazy industry. So now that I am out on my own with Christensen Consulting, I've decided to start this podcast about the community behind the curtain in medical aesthetics and what these incredible people are doing to keep it all together, all with no filter. So, welcome to the Zero Filter Sessions. My guest today is genuinely one of my favorite people in the industry and outside of the industry as well, just one of my favorite people. She is truly unique, insanely intelligent, driven like no one else, and as humble as they come. Also, she has a wicked sense of humor, so I can't wait to spend time with her today. Rana Kennelly is a nationally recognized nurse practitioner, aesthetic practitioner, educator, and speaker with more than 2 decades of experience in aesthetic medicine. She's known for her authentic, warm, and direct teaching style and is deeply committed to equipping the next generation of practitioners with honest, comprehensive, and real-world education. She is a trusted speaker for leading aesthetic companies, including Galderma, Revance, and Palette Resources, where she shares her candid insights on delivering safe, natural-looking results rooted in ethics, science, and artistry. In 2013, Rana founded the Confidence Lab, a premier training center designed to elevate injector skill, confidence, and collaboration that recently launched its unmatched preceptorship program. It's in its second iteration of that. In 2020, she expanded her vision with the Confidence Bar, a boutique medical spa in Chicago focused on authentic, expert care. Rana leads with integrity, heart, and fierce dedication to authenticity in both practice and education, where everybody grows together. Please welcome Rana Kennelly.
Oh, it's so sweet. That's so nice. Look at us. We're both doing round of
Yes, we're
applauses.
like, yay! Good job.
Like, you're amazing. I'm just so lucky that I get to sit here and hang with you, girl.
I
Like,
feel the same way.
you've
I
got
feel the
such
same
a
way.
good reputation, and I'm just lucky to
Oh,
be in your space. I just love it.
I
I
feel the
love
same
it.
way.
I
Ronnie, you
know.
are like such a light in the industry. And I know that yeah, I'm sure you hear that all the time, but your authenticity is wonderful, especially because your authenticity is so beautiful. Like I know some people, if they were
Oh.
their authentic selves, they'd be like, "Ooh." But with you, it's a lovely thing. How how do you balance like your authenticity with being on social media and kind of is there a separation between your personal life and your what you put on social? Because social media is kind of a big part of your brand.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of like I just got back from a conference this weekend, and I think that the nicest compliment I get is you're exactly the same as you are in person and how you show up in social media. But one of the biggest compliments that I get, they're like, you're so beautiful in real life. And I'm like, yeah, I look like a pile of shit on social media because I'm often on my toilet or lying in my bed at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Talking on stories. So I'm like, why, thank you. So I get a bit of a confidence boost when people are like, you look way better in person.
That's hilarious. Do you have a hard time? Like, are you okay opening your, because I know recently you've had a little bit, it's
Yeah,
rough out there. People are rough
yeah.
out there.
Look, social media is a devil and a saint. And part of being an aesthetic practitioner is that you have to be on it. It's part of the job.
Mhm.
If you're not going to do it yourself, you have to hire someone to do it for you. I haven't done that because then you just lose that connection and that authenticity. So the easiest way for me to show up is how I am or who I am. And the easiest thing for me to share, more so on stories, is my family because they're the people that I want to hang with the most, you know. And it's only been sort of recently because I've got children that are 12 and 14, but they always thought that I was just FaceTiming with my mum. They didn't know that I was on social media until the last couple of years. And now they've even said the word Instagram and things like that. And I'm like, because I don't want them, I don't let them have devices and social
Mhm.
media, but they know now. But it's I'm not sharing a ton. It's kind of weird because when I started on social media several years ago, I remember asking someone, I don't know what to do on these stories. What is a hashtag and what's all this? And they're like, Rana, you have to take a photo of your coffee in the morning. And I immediately went, I don't drink coffee. Or, well, take a photo of what you're eating for breakfast. And I'm like, that is weird. The concept of it was so weird to me. But then when they said to me, tag the business that you're reading your panini at or your bagel at, and it supports their business. And that's when kind of a light switch went off. I went, what? I can
Mhm.
support another business by saying where I'm eating. I've got goosebumps doing it. So there's all these the weird side of it, and simply it turns into a positive by supporting someone else. So
Mhm.
look, social media doesn't come easy to me. I do consider it work. It's not a hobby. I'm on it because I have a business. I am an aesthetic practitioner. If I was still practicing as a midwife, I would just be scrolling, looking. I
Mhm.
don't scroll. I don't look. I'm on the platform. I'm working it, but I'm working it honestly. So stories is my real life. It's my family. It's whatever's happening in that moment. When it's my feed, it's a little bit more curated in terms of offering education, little tippets into injector pearls, giving a little bit of comedy because who doesn't want to laugh, and a little
Right.
window into my life. So that's more, when I say curated, it's more thoughtful. Stories is just like what's happening in the moment. And my pearl to other people to get out of their own head is I don't go back and look at my stories because if I did, I would be
Uh-huh.
horrified. I'm like, what did I just do? I'm insane. So I don't go, that's my pearl, is not to go back and look. Just post it. Don't make it look pretty. Don't add the
Uh-huh.
filters. Just put it out there and forget it. Move on, you know.
Mhm.
When I walked into work this morning, a patient was coming down the stairs and she goes, how was it at your doctor's appointment this morning? Because I had these ugly, like blue disposable pants on and sockets, and I just lay and I just went snap. The doctor said to me, who's your primary care? And I'm like, I've not had one. I've not had one for 20 years. I just put that. Every other nurse out there knows what I'm talking about. We don't go to the doctor unless we have to. And a patient's like,
Uh-huh.
isn't it funny that I knew you were at the doctor's this morning, you know? So there's always that nice connection that I'm like, and I said to her, oh, I just want to let you know that everything's okay, you know? So it was cute.
Well, and it really does offer the human side of who you are. I think
Yeah,
that's something that's a lot different in our industry than traditional medical spaces. The person you're working with is a human being, and
yeah,
what the patient is in there for is really not. It can be scary. It can be very vulnerable, and it's so nice to have someone who's listening to. I've actually been in your chair, Rana, and it's
yeah,
been. I have dipped my tiny little toe in the magic that is our industry, and
yeah,
it is a very vulnerable position, and it's really nice
yes,
to know that there's someone on the other side that honors that a little bit, you know.
yeah. Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
one of the things with you, you've grown like everybody else in the industry, you kind of grow up in the industry. At what
Hmm.
point did you determine that you had shifted from being just a practitioner to kind of a voice of authority in the space?
You know, I don't even feel like I am a voice of authority. It's weird. I still feel like I'm growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like every year I am getting better, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm going to go to the grave not knowing a thing.
But I think
But I
that's
don't
actually
even
what
feel
makes
like,
you so good at what you do
oh,
because you're always, always learning.
yeah, it's important, isn't it? This past weekend at conference, I suppose that's when I get a kind of a glimpse into how other people see me, because I
Mhm.
had several people come up to me and say, you're such a great role model. And I was like, I always joke it off. And I don't know why I do that. I should just say thank you. But I I can't answer it other than, for me, it's very easy to just be yourself and do good by other people. I'm not actually trying to be a good role model. I know that sounds selfish, but if that's how you perceive me, that's a bonus. I just want
Mhm.
to do the right thing by myself, my family, my friends, my colleagues, aesthetic medicine, and the world. It sounds very, very cheesy, but just do the right thing. It's so simple.
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting because it what you're saying is it's really not that hard to do as far as making sure that you have the right intention behind your
Yeah.
actions and your decision. I mean, I know for a fact, Rana, that you are one of the hardest working professionals in our industry. You never stop
Oh.
learning. You're always growing. You're always building. Your training is very active. And
Mhm.
that doesn't just happen. Where did you get like this work ethic? And how does it translate to your success?
Oh, I just get really lit up by other people being successful. And we've spoken about this before, and you're the same.
Mhm.
It fills my cup. And I say to people, I'm going to encourage you to plant the seeds. I'm going to give you some sunshine, but you have to water the seeds. But I want
Mhm.
your garden to be full. And
Mhm.
that is what gives me the drive is I love seeing other people grow and be successful in whatever that is for them. And to be able to have a part of it just feels really, really special. Like when people circle back around and say, Hey, Rana, I took your course 4 or 5 years ago. Here is where I am now. And that course that I took with you was the first, and it put me in good standing. And so you get this positive feedback loop of all the generosity that you give, that you just know that you're having an impact with others to do the right thing and have a successful practice or a successful path in aesthetics. And when I get that feedback loop, it just gives me more battery to do more. Like I'm not even tired. I'm like, who next? Who wants help? And I'm not going to jump in people's ways, but I'm going to be very honest and I'm going to share what didn't work for me, the hurdles that I had to jump over, the potholes that I fell in. And if I can share those kind of misfortunes that ultimately gave me growth to others and help them on a better, more smoother path, that's job satisfaction to me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, if you go kind of going down that path a little bit, what like piece of advice would you give your like young Rana, young baby Rana, little baby in
Mm,
the industry? What piece of advice would you give her about navigating this industry? Like you've gotten where you are. I'm sure you've had your struggles and your
mm,
challenges and your opportunities that you can see like the actual turning point of
yeah,
where you kind of got higher and got not even
yeah,
higher, but closer to what you feel is your happiness and your
yeah.
satisfaction.
I would say that the one piece of advice is just be yourself because you're in a side of medicine that you can sort of perceive as an outsider as being glamorous and
Mhm.
having to look perfect and being thin and having to be able to carry expensive handbags and shoes. And I felt like I didn't belong because I didn't fit into that mold. But
Mhm.
now that I've matured, I understand there's a mold for everyone, and you just have to be comfortable in your own skin. In addition, I've also had some in my career path, not the best working environments. And
Mhm.
I hear this for other people that circle in with me and looking for my mentorship. And I say, look, you also get to create a really special environment in your treatment room. So block out the noise in the practice and really create those trusting relationships in the treatment room because I did that for years. The business that I was working in wasn't the most positive, motivating, uplifting. It was the treatment room that I created with the patients, that was kind of the little safety nest for me and the patient. So I didn't let the noise interrupt me, and I also didn't let it change me. So I've always been myself. I've always led with integrity. I've always led with doing the right thing by patients, by my peers. But I have worked in practices where I have to do what my boss tells me, even sometimes when it's not the right thing. And this was years and
Mhm,
years ago. I
mhm,
remember one of my first bosses, he said to me, "Hey, Rana, we've got 50 syringes of radius, get injecting." And I would be like, "Yes, sir," and I caught up with this doctor last year in Palm Springs. He had moved, and he goes, "You were so good because whatever I told you to do, you just did." And he goes, "I would tell you to do that because I got 50 free." And I'm like, so I didn't know the behind the scenes,
mhm,
and I was a good worker. But now, as I grew, I knew not to do those things because I'm like, I'm not going to do it because it doesn't feel right. But I didn't necessarily know what was right, but I went on my gut instincts. But I didn't
mhm,
have that maturity at the beginning because I
mhm,
didn't know. And remember, this is 20 plus years ago when none of us knew much in
mhm,
aesthetics. So I'd say be yourself, create a positive space. You can also learn in negative environments. There's always
mhm,
something to pick up, and you can learn and grow in that. And you get to go home. So even if you've got a colleague that's toxic and is ruining your day, you don't walk in their shoes. You don't need to take that home. Go home to your own peace, your own zen, and know that that other person, just release them from your energy. You know what I mean? So
mhm,
it's just life experience. I've grown, I'm mature, I'm older. I look at world a lot differently than I did in my 20s, 30s, and 40s now. And
mhm,
so I've got wisdom because I've been through it all. One of my colleagues, I just said to her, you're nearly 30. I want you to practice having these difficult conversations in the workplace
mhm,
because it's practice for you. These are your colleagues that are going to come and go, but it's also practice for you with your partner,
mhm,
having difficult conversations with your parents, with your best friend. So practice the difficult conversations that I'm giving you the power to do in the workforce so you can be better in your life. And I
mhm,
think that little switch went off in her head. And also me telling her, you're nearly 30. Come on.
mhm, mhm,
You should have grown into this by now. But I
mhm.
love the fact that she said thank you, and I saw a little light bulb go off. But it's for her to put the work in, and it's for me to encourage her that it's okay, and
Absolutely.
I'm gonna support her, and I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
support her. Because what's a difficult conversation for her is not difficult for the person receiving it. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to say. You're not hurting anyone's feelings. This is good, clear communication and collaboration.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Zero Filter Sessions. I just wanted to take a quick minute to tell you more about me and how I might be able to help you. I have recently launched Christensen Consulting to help practices like yours with operational and strategy challenges that you're facing. As someone who's been in the industry for 20 plus years and who has grown small businesses from being in the red to being multi-million-dollar companies, I am confident I can help you. Whether you feel like you're always behind in making decisions for your practice, are struggling with team management and motivation, or are assessing how to grow, scale, and make more money, whether on your own or through private equity, I can help. Please reach out to me at Kathy, Cathy, at cchristiansenconsulting.com. That's CCHRISTENSEN consulting.com. Or check out my website at cchristiansenconsulting.com so I can help you find solutions and find success. And now back to our episode. That's right. No, I love that. It sounds like you, and I know this, that you serve a mentor role for a lot of people, and you are most likely outside of your space, but in your space as well. Did you ever have like a mentor, or do you have any mentors now that like really
You
held a
know,
place?
Yeah, I have to say, in retrospect, the mentors that have shaped me the most, this is horrible to say, but they're the ones that always asked, Rana, what's your why? What's your
Mm,
purpose? And I'd always say, oh, you're so cheesy. I'd be like, oh my gosh, are we having to go down that route again? Those have been three really good best friends in my life. And I hate to say this, I must be cursed, but they're three good friends that have passed away.
gosh.
So you kind of, I know, so you carry, I think too, because they've passed on, I carry within me these conversations that keep them alive and the
Mhm,
challenging conversations or the things that make me think you gave me so much. So
mhm.
I think that that's what comes to mind straight away because I just carry pieces of them with me every single day and I want to make them proud of me
Mhm.
and I don't ever want to forget them.
Well, and I think that's true. How amazing for you to be they the some of the best parts of them live on through you, which is
Yeah.
an amazing thing. They're still mentoring people, even,
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. In my mind, I go, "Oh my gosh, they're watching. What did they coach me to
yeah.
say? What would they expect me to do?" And you kind of
Mhm.
feel them around you, like, "Rana,
Mhm.
you've got this." And it's weird, but like, I want to make them proud.
Right. Well, it's
Yeah.
very interesting. It's that thought. I'm going to get really crazy and weird here, but I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm not sure why, but the thought of ancestors. There are a lot of cultures,
Mhm.
that really honor their ancestors. A lot of
Yeah,
them, just Americans, not so much. But that's
yeah,
truly a big part of where people derive their strength and their kind of
yeah,
path of. And even, it's funny because I would never think of my grandma and grandpa who have passed on as my ancestors. It sounds very like magical and mystical, but truly they
yeah,
are, and you do think about those things and what
yeah,
role they play in your life. So that's really, really interesting,
yeah.
that you feel that too. I think it's true.
Mhm.
It's like it's not just what we're dealing with here. We're dealing, we have that support, and you have those wonderful kind of
Mhm.
memories of conversations you've had with those people, and you get to share that and keep it going, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And it's also too when people have passed on way too young,
yes.
yet they had lived such accomplished lives. But if they had the chance to do it, so you kind of think to yourself, man, I'm getting this opportunity,
Yeah.
don't waste it. So that's what drives me as well. I remember saying to my grandmother when I was younger, oh my gosh, I've got another wedding or a baby shower and what have
Mhm.
you. And she'd go, don't complain. One day it'll be funerals. And I was like, my grandmother's so morbid. But I've stepped into a part of my life where that is it now, so I'm much more grateful and success is a lot quieter for me
Mhm.
and I've got much more meaning for life, and I'm more grateful to still be here, you know.
Yes. No, and I
Mhm.
think that's part of it, the gratitude of just
Mhm.
like I've gotten to a point where when my family is together for anything, I'm just like, take a moment and be like, hey, everyone's healthy, everyone's here, everyone's like being sometimes obnoxious and drinking all your wine, but it's okay.
Yeah,
They're here, and those are gifts because they won't always be that way. And it is, I don't
yeah,
think it's morbid. I think it's just awareness,
yeah,
and gratitude. Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm curious, and I am really curious about this one, just kind of switching gears.
yeah.
What is the most bizarre request you've ever had from a client? Okay, now I want to know. After seeing your face, now I know.
I, mhm. Well, I think first and foremost, as an aesthetic practitioner, you are really a lock and key. You are
Mhm,
a safety bolt for people. They really share their deepest, darkest things with you. And I just lock it up. I don't
mhm.
tell a soul. Sometimes I might have to debrief about it, but it's like, and then we unlock that again at their next appointment. I would say that I'm sort of hearing these things all the time.
Uh-huh.
But some things that sort of stand out. I had a gentleman, this is several years ago now. He brought in a photographs of Jennifer Lopez and he said that he wanted to look like her. Well, I almost thought it was a joke, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was very serious, methodical, had gone through the photographs with me. And now, in retrospect, I understand he was a married man, but he had gender issues. But
Uh-huh.
as a younger practitioner, I didn't understand that. So
Uh-huh.
even now, I look back on experiences like that and think, oh,
Uh-huh.
I understand. And it was interesting him with that. I, we didn't do a treatment actually. I talked him out of it because he was asking me for feminizing cheeks. And I
Mhm.
was talking to him about the importance of looking masculine. Like he
Mhm.
was a father, he was a married man. I didn't think for a minute a man wanted to look
Mhm.
feminine. It just wasn't. This was, a long time ago. I'm different. I say, I don't presume. I say to
Mhm.
people, what do you want? You want to look like a hunky, like lumberjack, or do you want to look like boy band? Or, oh, can
Yeah.
I be a little bit more playful and sort of get more of an understanding? But I remember leaving work that day and I was walking down the street to catch the bus. And I looked into a window, and the same man was having dinner with his wife and two kids.
Oh my.
And I was like,
Uh-huh.
this is so interesting. And so
Uh-huh.
there's been moments like that in my career that I grew into an understanding of and I would handle very differently now.
Uh-huh.
And it's been kind of the fun stuff, like, can you like inject my nipples or my G spot? And because they find out that I've been a midwife, I'm like, sure, those sorts of things. But also, I've worked for plastic surgeons, so
Mhm.
we've done a lot of reconstruction. So with breast reconstruction, giving someone the projection of the nipple or
Mhm.
um, just helping with like little things, cosmetic things that have come from not an elective procedure, but something that has been traumatic in their life and you can make it look better. So there's always some quirky requests, and I say now that I'm much more confident saying no. I'm much more confident referring it out. But one thing that has helped is social media because you're able to put out there your philosophy and what your care is and a soft and a natural result. So I would say thinking about it just with social media now, I've got more drawing to me that is of a similar mindset rather than before social media. I would have kind of this different quirkiness and not the alignment straight away. I think social media has brought in the alignment a lot
Mhm.
quicker, and people are coming to your practice because there's a mutual understanding of the aesthetic.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It's almost like your first filter, for
Yeah.
to get, your ideal client to your business. That's interesting that you talk about like transgender feminization. Like that's
Yeah.
something that really has very much changed in really,
Mm.
what do you say, the past 10, 15 years, where I can't, and it still continues to change. Is that something that can be helped significantly through, just because I don't know, through
Yeah.
non-invasive aesthetics, or is it
Yeah,
something
it
that
can.
needs to
Absolutely.
be?
It can make people feel much more confident in who they believe that they are and showing up in the world confidently. With our preceptorship, I have a segment that I'm so passionate about. It's kindness and vocabulary. And I'm trying to move away from saying the words masculinization and
Mhm.
feminization because we should be more respectful to include everyone. But I wasn't brought up in that era. And I have
Uh-huh.
to look like people like my kids that is it's just so accepting.
So I've got a question. You were a midwife. When
Yeah.
did you, when and why did you decide to go down this path? And do you miss being a midwife?
Yeah, I
Do
do.
you? I bet you do.
I do not miss the night shifts. I do not miss the, 20-hour birthing mothers that, were trancing out with me. Um, but it was a beautiful part of my career. I'll be forever grateful. And I thought midwifery, coming from a nursing background, then studying to be a midwife, I thought midwifery would be the dream job because it's life, right?
Yeah.
It's nobody's sick, it's giving birth. And I worked in a high dependency unit in London, and with that came fetal death, maternal death, and
Mm.
it just hung heavy. And I was the young, enthusiastic midwife that the burnt out midwives gave me the hard stuff. And I'd come into morning handover. Here she is again. Give her the. Da, 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 da.
Uh,
So it just became heavy.
mhm.
And we worked in, I was at Guy's in St. Thomas's in London, and we worked in a tool. I think this was the day that I just, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. There were many things that happened, but this was the day where I was like, no. And we worked in a tall hospital. You couldn't open the windows, of course.
Mm.
And when in our culture, when someone passes, you have to lift the window to let the spirit out.
Mhm.
And I just got tired. I know it sounds so little and benign, but I got so tired of not being able to open a window and I just cracked.
Mhm.
And we would the volunteers would have shoe boxes and they would crochet little beds for the babies that had passed, either elective or not,
Mhm.
stillbirths. And I was that midwife that one of the things that I'm really proud of was I was that midwife that managed to pass in the hospital system, which is hard to get a professional photographer to come in and take photos of the little babies that had passed, so that if a family didn't want to see, and some didn't, but they were filed in their chart so that years later they were told that they were there should they want to. Well, I was the aesthetic midwife where I made them look pretty with
Uh-huh.
all the volunteer knitting and crocheting, and their little skins were delicate, so I would always make everyone look really nice. And I thought that I was going insane because I would be talking to them and telling them what I was doing. So it got to the point where I was getting burnt out. I couldn't sort of follow what my heart wanted. I
Mhm.
made a really good initiative, and now I'm like, where do I go when nobody dies? That's
Yeah.
ultimately what I thought. This was my dream job and I loved it and I was good at it. But the heavy days are really heavy there, really heavy. And every single one still sticks on me to this day. I'm just that person. I
Uh-huh.
carry a little piece of all of that to this day and I don't forget them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where do I go when nobody dies? And it's aesthetic
Mhm.
medicine.
I think a lot of people kind of they make that shift. And during COVID, that was a really big kind of
Yeah,
catalyst that made people look for something that wasn't so bleak all the time.
yeah,
Um, and it's a pretty great industry. It's a pretty great industry. But I know you deal
yeah.
with things too, like with
Yeah.
body dysmorphia and those
Mm.
types of things as well. So it's you are never going to be free of that type of responsibility, I don't think. What personal achievement outside of your career are you most proud of?
Oh, that's easy.
I
My
know.
cat. But I've got to whisper because I don't want them to hear me.
I don't want them to get big heads.
Yeah, it's easy. I've got great children that are respectful, that are thoughtful, that are kind, that cheer other kids on, that speak to adults, respectfully, that take care of me when I walk in the door. They massage my feet, they get me a plate of food, so I've worked hard, Ian and I, to have nice children,
Mhm.
but I reap all the rewards. Yeah, so that's easy. That's easy for me. I have really great kids. Great
Uh,
kids.
well, I've met
Yeah,
them and I can attest.
they're just
They are
wonderful.
sweet and charming and kind. And you're right. That doesn't just happen. You work hard for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And we've got a very peaceful home. Like it's like, I walked in the door from work, my son walked in the door from school, and he's like, Mama, how was your day? I'm like, how was your day? We both said busy, but it was great. But we
aw,
actually come home to go, we've got
mm-hmm,
a very peaceful home. And I'm so pleased that my kids enjoy being home. Like we're all
mm-hmm.
kind of homebodies, but everyone loves the space that we've created in the house, you know?
Aw. Well, it's
Yeah.
sanctuary, right?
Yeah.
That's how I have a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, and they're both kind of considering moving beyond my home into their own homes, which is wonderful. But I will always have, we'll always be here as sanctuary. The world can get a
Yeah.
little crazy sometimes. So that's what home
Yeah.
should be. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, so one of my final questions for you is, okay, I'm going to ask you the serious one first. Um, what is exciting you in the industry right now? Like, what do you think is a game changer, either for the industry or for you,
Mm.
and your businesses? Like, what's lighting your torch?
What is lightning it? Now, I always can think of something relevant that just happened. I just heard Arthur Swift speak, and he's
Yeah.
such a figure in aesthetics.
Mhm.
And you'll never tire of him and his generosity and his way with words and his experience. And he gave a topic on neuromodulator.
Mm.
And you think that you know everything. And then you come away with all these little pearls. And I'm just like, having aha moments 20 years on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know this? And I'm so excited to share those with others. So I get excited sometimes about what I'm already doing, but how I can do it better. With
Uh,
things that come through the pipeline, I'm more of a person that sits back and waits. I don't want to be the first bull out of the gate. And
mhm.
also, I'm very familiar with marketing noise and farmer noise. And I quieten all that down and I really channel into peers that I respect who are maybe jumping on a trend or a new product or something. And I'm like, what do you think? What are your patients saying? Before we even bring it into the confidence bar, I'm like, I need the feedback of the patients, but they're not necessarily
Mhm.
going to be mine.
I mean,
I'm like, yeah, go for it. What's happening out there? I just think sit back, sit back. Like you can focus on doing better with the skills, the really good skills that you currently have, and fine tune them even more to be more predictable in your results, safer outcomes, happier patients. And that
mhm,
follow up is so important to get that, before and after photos, the patient's feedback, fine tune all of that, then jump on what's next and exciting. Because even coming back from a conference, I'll have patients like, Rana, what's next? What's the
mhm,
next big thing? And I'm like, doing what we're doing now, but better, you know?
mhm. Yes, absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about that. Why do you kind of preach that giving yourself time to assess something and sit back? And I think there
Yeah.
are I think there are probably benefits to both, like to either be an early adopter or to wait. Why do you choose to wait?
So I think that because I've been in aesthetics a long time and I've seen things come and go and I've seen things resurface and I just chuckle because when they resurface 10 years later, I'm like, oh, we've been down this route. It
Uh,
didn't work. And so I'm not I suppose I am a little bit of a skeptic, but I've seen it before. So to give you an example of some things that are coming through the pipeline, Allergan is coming out with a botulinum toxin type E. So it's got a
mhm,
quick onset and a short duration. Well, then I'm like, why didn't they make something that lasted longer? Patients aren't looking for something that's lasting shorter, but the
mhm,
patients that are looking to for something that's shorter, the ones that haven't sampled it yet. So there's millions of people out there that love neuromodulator, and there's millions out there that are on the fence. So
Mhm.
they may be more tempted to try something that has a quicker onset and it lasts shorter just in case they don't like it.
Mhm.
But we had this, and I get that it's sales, it's marketing, it's bringing patients in to sample it, maybe before they move to something more longer lasting. I understand it. But I've been around the block, not with a toxin like that, but with a hyaluronic acid filler. It was called Preval Silk. Its duration was 3 months. It was a syringe, and they marketed it to do lip filler for brides. Let them sample it, and then it's not going to last too long. It just flunked. It was on the market and off the market in 12 months.
Mhm.
So I think just having those experiences and then also thinking critically, why would we have a quick onset, short duration? We don't want that patient to consistently get that short duration tox because now we're going to build antibodies. And
Mhm.
now we're going to build resistancy because every time you get a neuromodulator treatment, it is like getting an immunization. Your immune system kicks up. So there's just things to me like when that gets approved, and it will. Allergan, has had it in the pipeline for a very long time. They just didn't want it to compete with Botox Cosmetic because that's their you know, big
Mhm.
stayer, and it's got great brand recognition, of course. So they didn't want to bring in their own competition, but now there's other neuromodulators out there. They're more price effective. They're going to bring something else in. It's a good time for them. Um, I'm not going to be injecting it first.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I understand. There's a lot. I think I know from my experience in the industry and talking to newer owners and entrants into the space, they get completely overwhelmed. I know in the kind of in your original answer, you said I can kind of see through all this marketing buzz. I don't know how many people would come up to me at like a boot camp event that would talk about like which laser should I buy? I feel like I need to buy a laser that sale's going to be up at the end of this event. And it's like, girl, there's going to be another sale. I promise you.
They'll extend it. They'll extend the sale.
Right. They're not just going to forget about you, I promise. But that's a big part, like not to be so
Mhm.
cynical that you pass up the things that can help you grow the business, but also to
Mhm.
look through things from a very realistic lens. And I think
Yeah.
that can be this industry can be very overwhelming with its marketing and its buzz talk. Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah. So tempting. There's so many shiny little toys and things that, just sit
oh,
quietly.
I
Yeah.
love the like sit and watch. That's
Yeah.
actually going to happen. And there are
Mm.
forums in the industry if you feel like you don't have a place to go.
Yeah.
People are willing to share their feedback. Everyone, if they can help, they will. I think that's
Yeah.
fair to say in this industry. I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely people who don't want to share with their competitors, but it's a big country, so you can get on those
Yeah.
forums and start kind of asking too. So my final question for you is, at this point in your career, what do you believe your theme song would be? It's really important.
Oh my gosh. My team would tell you all my theme songs. They know. Even when we're away this weekend, we're like, Rana, should we ask for this? All my theme songs have a theme, I suppose, like Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson,
It's a
you know,
classic.
Reflection, again, Do the Right Thing.
Yes. Reflection from
I,
which one? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And a big one that I always play at the office is This Is Me from The Greatest Showman.
Oh,
And I love it because the woman has a beard and she's
yes.
just like,
Yes. I used to
and
work
I
with
just
that
love
one.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, so my team will know my theme songs more than me because they're just the ones that I put on. But they're powerful and they're moving and they mean something.
Yeah. They give you that
Yeah,
spark. All
yeah.
right. Well, I am so grateful for this time with you and am in awe of everything that you do and how you do it. You do it with such integrity and you do it like I understand why you fall asleep right away because your little brain is working like all the time and you're always kind of doing amazing things here in Chicago and beyond. And if you, if you haven't had a chance to see Rana on podium, she's amazing. You have your just real quick before we end, tell me about your preceptorship program. I know it's kind of your baby, but it's growing into this
Yeah.
amazing thing.
Yeah, it's something that my only regret was not starting it earlier.
Okay.
And it just warms my heart and fills me with pride. Our team has worked really, really hard. The reason why I love it so much is you just see the growth and the consistency in others evolve rather than a 1 or 2 day training. This growth of this 6 month intensive preceptorship, it's all I want to do. I'm telling you, it's all I want to do because I just love it. I
I
just
have
love
seen
it.
a lot of training programs in this industry, and
Yeah.
nothing, I mean, I can honestly say nothing compares to what you put together. And you
Thank
should
you.
be so proud. I had the honor of being at your graduation ceremony, and there was your
Yeah,
mother
thank you,
there,
Kathy.
right?
I know.
She was pregnant when she started, and the baby was at
Yes,
the graduation. Like, talk about
yeah,
dedication.
I know. And then another of our preceptees came with her mother,
Um,
it's just those things. And it feels good, and
yeah,
I know my team is so proud to mentor them along the way and they see their growth and they give me the feedback of Rana, this was amazing.
yeah,
It's really fulfilling. It's really fulfilling. Yeah, I love
yeah.
it. Mm,
I
love
think
it.
it's amazing. And I'm grateful to be able to watch everything you do. And thank you for being on my podcast. It was
Thank
amazing
you,
to chat with you.
Kathy. Thanks for everything. I appreciate everything.
Same here. Thank you, Rana. Bye.
Bye. Round of applause.